Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our recap for Double Agents episode 11. As always, my name is Zach, and I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hey, what's up?
Best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm glad we use your locally recorded audio, because we record on Zoom, but then we record at our individual computers as well, because when you do stuff like that, Zoom completely just cuts you out. It's just like, too much is happening, we're going to shut off the water.
Do you not like that I did that?
Well, they wouldn't have heard it. Like, I can see what you're doing, but Zoom has a lot of compression on it, and so it doesn't want that to come through.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, guys. We like to give you a behind-the-scenes peek here at the Smashing Heads headquarters. We got Sleepy Han with us tonight. And
you can tell by that response.
So I, on the other hand, am wired tonight, so I am picking up for Han. That's the beauty about all of our relationships here, is that when one of us are down, the other one
Just one?
The other one steps in and says, "You can sit back. I got you tonight. Don't worry about being so loud and vocal, because I'm going to be the voice here. I'm going to be the voice of reason tonight."
I kept trying to jump in, and then your analogy kept going and going.
Yeah.
I was going to say when there was only one set of footprints in the sand, that's when one of us is carrying the other.
I feel like that's biblical.
It's not biblical. It's just a really crappy painting.
Footprints in the sand.
Yeah, it's like that. When there's two sets, it's when Jesus was walking with you. When there's only one, it's when he's carrying you.
You know what I heard?
You know Jesus loves the beach.
Yeah, but you know what song I heard that I totally forgot about a couple of days ago? Jesus Walks by Kanye.
Okay, sure.
Well, you're our resident Kanye fan.
So let me clarify that a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's say from his first albums, Late Registration, Graduation, all that stuff. College Dropouts, first big one, all the way through My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Yes. Anything after that, I don't really care about.
No,
but Jesus Walks was either the first or second album. I can't remember off the top of my head. But he made 3 music videos for it. Sometimes you got to do that
to get your point across.
Yeah. Or just when you're kind of a self-absorbed rich person, you can kind of do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. You got any? I got a lot of plugs I got to get through at the top, actual plugs this episode.
Yeah, let's get it, Zach.
Smack. All right, so a couple things. One, this isn't necessarily a plug for us, but Paramount Plus dropped their big Twitter feed yesterday of all the stuff coming to their streaming platform, which CBS All Access is going to be absorbed into Paramount Plus. It makes sense. Paramount's the parent company, and also probably just from an average consumer level, if you hear CBS All Access, you're going to think it's just shows that are on CBS, which you wouldn't know, like The Challenge and random stuff like that is on there. So did you guys see the little teaser trailer for The Challenge All-Stars?
No.
Is that the yeah, I saw it. Is that what we've been hearing?
Yeah.
That's it.
Instead of We Want OGs, it's called The Challenge. And from a marketing perspective,
that's a better name.
I completely get it. Because unless you're in a very small, social media circle, you would have no idea what We Want OGs are. If you're just, someone at home and you see a show's coming on Paramount Plus called We Want OGs, you'd be like, what is that? I don't know what that means. So The Challenge All-Stars, it's a much better name just for a general marketing standpoint. It's exclusive to Paramount Plus, and we don't know if it's going to drop weekly or, this seems to be the trend with the big shows right now, WandaVision, The Mandalorian, that type of thing, or if it's going to be the whole season at one time. We just don't know as of now. But I am excited about it. There's a lot of people that are going to be on it that we haven't seen in a while. Including some that said they were done with the challenge for good. So we'll see what that means. Yeah, that's not related to us in particular.
Hey, did you guys know that Justin Bieber once said "never say never"?
I don't care.
So maybe they listened to that and they were like, "You're right. I'm not done."
Can you sing it for us, Han?
No, I can't even remember how it goes.
Well, that's
never say never.
Well, that's where I'm pretty sure the title for the Andy Samberg movie, Pop Star Never Stop Stoppin', came from.
Probably. Much better movie than Justin Bieber's movie.
What movie was he in?
He
Never
had
Say
a
Never.
movie, Never
Was
Say
it?
Never,
I don't know.
where it was like his world tour.
Okay, well, I got a lot of plugs I still got to get through. So, one other thing, we brought back
Good one.
a Patreon series that we haven't done in a while where I dropped my phone on the table. But
Threw it.
But no
Hand
one would know
roasted
that.
you.
Yeah.
She got you.
She's like, good one.
He just threw it on the table.
So Patreon, it's we're doing a Patreon hangout where we actually bring our patrons on video and audio form. It's on Patreon only, obviously, and we actually interviewed this past week our resident stat checker, Statman Paul, and
The man, the myth, the legend.
yeah, he was with us early on. He used to
Almost
email
from the very beginning.
Yeah, he used to email us real early in the day. He found us on Reddit and be like, hey, I love the show. Here's all the places you were wrong about the past seasons and all that. So it was good to have him on to hear his take on the challenge and how he got into it and all that type of stuff. So that'll be dropping hopefully this weekend, again, on patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast in audio and video form. So if you want to watch the video, that's cool. If you don't want to look at us and just listen, there'll be an audio version as well. But speaking of that, and how much we do not know about Challenge Past, Jake and I will actually be on a live Zoom call with three other podcasts that are all Challenge podcasts. And they asked us to do this, and it's going to be Challenge Trivia.
It'd be funny if they just said trivia night and it wasn't challenge trivia, if it was just like random trivia.
So I asked that. I said, so is this going to be challenge like related trivia, or is this going to be trivia like how the challenge does trivia, where it's just like random facts?
What language do they speak in Denmark?
It was it was in Australia, and he said Dutch. You get him a little backwards, but yeah, it was from what they told us, they said it may be a mixture of both, but I'm getting the vibe that it's going to be more challenge history themed. So Jake and I will probably be very bad at that. You know, we're playing with the podcast, the Couch Pod Taters. They're the ones putting this on, and then it's us, and then some people from The Right Reality, and then from the You Killed It podcast, the U.S. version of You Killed It, not the Canadian one. And Jake and I are going to be on there. It's who knows what's going to happen. We might
You probably won't do well.
we might completely
God.
embarrass ourselves.
She's roasting the hell out of you.
Well, she's not going to be there. She's too.
I have work out of town, and then I have a family thing out of town.
Well, and honestly, she probably needs to just get some sleep.
Yeah,
I would love sleep. I've been thinking about it since.
I still got
10
stuff to
o'clock
plug,
this
guys.
morning.
so
Well, I'm going to plug my bed.
so
I'm going to plug myself into my bed.
it's this Saturday that Jake and I are doing this. So the 27th, it'll be live on Twitch, on the Couch Pod Taters Twitch channel, which is if you just want the URL, it's just twitch.tv/couchpodtaters, PODTATERS. And it'll be live on there for anyone to watch, so it's not like paywalled or anything like that. Anybody can get on Twitch and watch it. And it's happening at 6 p.m. Pacific, which that'll be 8 p.m. Central Time where we're at. Do the math if you live in a different time zone. It'll be 7 or 9, or if you live across the world. I'm not going to name all those for you.
Could be 11.
Could be 11 somewhere.
What time would it be in North Korea? Because they're not. Their hours are different, but also their minutes are different.
Yeah, they have like a. I don't think we have any North Korean listeners.
You never know.
Maybe South Korean. I think at some point we've had South Korean, but
If we do, God bless.
sure. But beyond that, it's this Saturday, the 27th, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and it's going to be live on their Twitch channel. And so you can come hang out, be in the chat, do whatever. If it's general trivia, I think Jake and I might have a chance.
You would, for sure, because you're really good at trivia.
She's not fully roasting tonight.
Okay. That was nice, hand.
Yeah. She's just letting her wall down completely, and it's just the good and the bad are going to come through.
Hey, You're dumb.
But the challenge specific trivia for me personally,
You're gonna suck at.
Well, it's just like certain seasons just all run together for me after a while. If they're like, hey, who had this elimination record in this season? Like, I don't know. We'll see how tough they get. But we're gonna be on there hanging out with them, and we haven't done anything like this, and so it's a live thing. And then I think from what I've gathered, they're gonna send all the files our way, so we'll put that up on our Patreon after we're done if you missed out on it. But again, it's just gonna be a fun way to hang out and see. We met a couple of the You Killed It guys, or at least one of them, at Challenge Mania in Nashville last year. I met Ephraim. The other ones I've never met in real life, so we'll see.
Can you believe that was last year?
Yep.
It feels like it was like 4 years ago.
I thought you were gonna say, can you believe it was last year? It feels like it was 3 months ago.
No, it feels like it was like 4 years ago.
You went.
That's kind of that's backwards in the direction most people go in, right?
Yeah, but COVID has just strung everything out, and it made everything feel so much longer. Like, Zach and I's anniversary is next week. Is that next week? What day is today?
Yes.
Okay. It's going to be 5 years, but it feels like it's been 20.
Oh, God.
Well, let's wrap up the old plug bag. That's Comedy Bang Bang reference. So let's get into tonight's episode. We actually did have a lot of plugs we had to get to this week, and we wanted to make sure to push the thing we're doing this weekend. So,
and Justin Bieber's movie Never Say Never.
No, I'm not plugging that. I will say go watch Popstar Never Stop Stopping. Go for that one. So episode 11, lots of talking points to be had in this episode. We'll get to some bigger ones in a minute. The episode starts off with Darrell basically telling the camera he needs a skull. Obviously,
I mean, he's been saying that.
A lot of people are really on Darrell's case this season, and he hasn't. What was the last season he did? Was it like Dirty 30? Was that the last one?
It was one of those, yeah.
It's in that trilogy. Again, Darrell has won 4 finals. Like, he was killing it back in the day, but a lot of times he kind of lays low until the final, and then he just turns it on when he needs to, and then he kills it. The problem is you can't do that this season, and he's running out of opportunities. He knows that. CT knows that. We see the urgency in this episode from CT. But right after the whole thing with Darrell, it kind of turns to his partner, and then you get a talking confessional with Kyle, and he's just like, Amber B is the fakest person in this house, and there's a lot of that.
I've been saying there's something off about her, man. I don't.
I don't see. We'll get into some more of that later. I told Hannah at one point in this episode, I was like, this whole drama between Gabby and Amber B is the most overblown, non-issue that's become a thing that I can remember in a long time. Neither one of them have done anything, but they're both can you believe how they treated me?
Well,
it's the equivalent of a rivalry they build up in wrestling, or they try to at least, but it's so something that no one cares about that they make it a dark match, which means that the pay-per-view they're building to which means
wrestle in the dark.
No, which it
that'd
means
be hard to do.
The pay-per-view they build to, it's not even on the main show. They put it as an opener that's not even televised.
Oh, so some of those they don't even show them?
Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't even make any sense. Who's it for then?
It's basically to get the live crowd warmed up.
Oh, they're like when, so that happens a lot on live TV shows. They'll bring out a comedian to get the crowds worked up before Oprah or Emeril Lagasse comes out, and they'll just get them they're funny, get them in the mood, and then that way you got a warmed up crowd. But it's usually not because people just don't care, I guess.
Well, that's the problem here. Nobody cares.
It with Amber B and Gabby, I have seen nothing that either one of them have done that's can you believe? They're acting like it's almost like the Kyle and Polly thing 2.0. And at least with that, Kyle legitimately hurt Cara and caused some problems.
Yeah.
Well, also Kyle and Polly matter in the midst of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're going to get to it tonight. This rookie class falls apart even more tonight. And I don't know. It's just it's been a running thing throughout these like last few episodes, and it's like neither one of them have any like real stance to be upset about. It's just stupid. So, CT basically then like clowns Gabby for a minute about not going in.
Cheer her up.
Yeah, he's like, we all make rookie mistakes, whatever, but he's like, you should have gone in. And
Devin admitted that his rookie mistake this year and every year is that he's incredibly annoying and can't shut up. Self-aware.
Again, that's the difference between him and Josh. Not the only one, but like he knows what he is. He knows where Josh just thinks. Again, we've talked about Josh.
Hey, speaking of Josh, feelings for Nani?
I'm not there yet, but yes.
That was my next note, and it was such a weird thing.
It's the like middle school like if I be their best friend, maybe they'll open up to me over time.
And the thing is you're talking about Nani, who will go for just about anyone,
except for the people that actually care about her.
But even then, like she still shows a level of interest, right?
Yeah. And
she
like
was just creeped out, weirded out, whatever you want to use.
She had to leave the room.
Yeah, Josh. Well, before that, Josh was whispering about not wanting to go back into eliminations, and I was like, "But he was upset last week." Anyway, that's the whole nother thing. But I was like, "Of course, Josh is in love with Nani."
Hey, remember when he tried to tell Amanda he had feelings for her?
Yeah, and he does the whole thing where he's
and
like,
she was like, "You're like my best friend."
She's like, "Kiss me on the cheek," and then he'll like turn at the last minute to the kiss on the mouth.
He is the ultimate friend zoner.
Yeah,
is he not?
To himself.
100%. And so because of that, like Nani, her literally her quote in her confessional is like, "This is extremely creepy, Josh." And it's that whole thing. It's like, you better not leave without giving me a hug. Come on. And
I was watching Hanson versus Predator on YouTube last night. That's what it reminded me of.
Is that his new YouTube channel?
Well, not quite new anymore, but it was the newer thing he did post To Catch a Predator.
Yeah.
No.
I thought when you first started talking, I was like, I thought you were saying the wording that you chose, Hanson versus Predator. Immediately, I think of the band Hanson, and then the movie Predator.
That's what I thought.
And I was like, what are you talking about?
Right.
That Hanson made some sort of Predator crossover. But anyway, he does that. Oh, and then I couldn't read my notes because I was like, what did I even mean here? But we get CT with Big T, and they're in the living area, and then he like straps her up to something that he said was for like muscle recovery.
But then he put like a thing on her temple,
and he had her bound. Jake, you may know what it. I don't know what that thing was that he was using.
No, I don't know what that is.
'Cause it's something that like you put like near like. It almost is like where you would put like a tourniquet. Like if you had like a wound that was bleeding really bad, you put it on like where like up near the blood would flow into your limbs. And it's something to do with muscle recovery because he wears it later in the episode. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I didn't know what they were doing, but it's a little bonding moment. He's throwing pillows at her. If that was Angela Babbitt's or whatever, she would have lost her mind because you can't throw pillows at her. So I know some trivia about the challenge.
Yeah, that's a callback right there.
Yeah. So then we shift to outside. Darrell's talking to Lolo, and he's just trying to like talk her down, like not in like a demeaning way, but like basically like you're fine, like you'll get through this.
He could tell that she was on like about to jump off the edge, and he's trying to talk her down from the cliff.
Yeah, and she just starts like breaking down out there with Darrell, and like he's just like he's not being mean, he's being very encouraging. He's
trying to have a calming conversation with her to talk some sense into her,
even though that's it's competition to an extent.
He even what is the plural for asparagus?
I don't know.
Asparagus?
But I did.
That's what I was thinking.
I wrote down, he said it's like peaches and asparagus.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what the full analogy was, but I just wrote peach and asparagus.
He said we're not comparing apples and oranges.
That's what it was,
we're comparing peaches and asparagus.
Yeah, and it is. It's completely different. We'll get to that with Lolo. This is not the Olympics. This is not anything like that. She was complaining about not having a coach mediator last time.
Which, again, if you have to have a third person, a coach, mediate every single confrontation or negative discussion that you have with another person, there's an issue there.
Yeah, you don't know how to communicate.
That's something that you need to work on.
So JD in our Slack group was talking about it, and I don't follow Lolo's career. I mean, I knew who she was, but he was like, her personality and I'm paraphrasing, like her inability to like work things out has been what has led to her not being as great as what she should be, like in the Olympics, in all the stuff like that. Like, it's been a known issue with her, is her temper or like her inability to communicate has caused rifts in the past. And everyone that we know that watched her on especially the Big Brother season she was on, were like, she is a disaster. And I see it. Like, I get it. I got some more things to say about that, but it's weird. And then they cut to the inside into the living area, and there's like, I don't know, 7 people in there.
Devin, Nani, Josh, Kyle, Nam, Casey, and Darrell think that Lolo is going to quit. Yeah. They're all sitting around talking about it.
The whole house knows that she's not.
She's checked out.
Yeah, and again, we got more stuff about that we'll get into as the episode goes on.
Well, here's what I'm most upset about is it's another one of my drafted players who's lost their freaking mind and just nothing. Zero contribution.
So, Jake, after this episode,
I got one. Do I have one person left?
Well, 5 of your top 6 are gone.
Also,
Darrell's your number 1 pick.
This will be your second competitor that has just chosen to quit.
Well, we'll get into that. I got some notes on that. That's a sneak peek. But it's just she's not there. I said some things on Twitter. Again, if you ever see anything from Twitter, it's almost always me. I feel like a lot of people feel the same way I do. But we'll get to that in a minute. Before though we get into that, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. All right, we are back, and after the whole thing with Lolo, we get into the daily. I thought as they were walking down, I looked at Hannah and I was like, we got to see if Lolo is like walking down with him, because it was kind of teased last week that Lolo might quit, right?
I called it last week. I said Lolo's going to quit.
Well, I mean, I think we all saw, like, it's just the writing was on the wall, and so she was there. It's called the day was called Mission Airlift. Not a creative name at all, and it's a kind of cool daily, but it's basically you're on a speedboat. Although the boat has no bearing on what you actually do, like you're just on the boat to get out to the water.
There are a handful of real iconic things that happened during this daily. One of those being Casey's hair was down. It's never down.
I don't remember that.
I didn't notice it.
I saw it. Well, it blended in, right? Their whole outfit's black, and her hair's jet black. We made a joke last week about Gavin and Debbie and Darrell.
They said it, yeah.
Darrell and Amber.
We had some people on Instagram they said what you guys said last week, and I was like, exactly.
It's like they listened and they knew.
Well, except that they said it months ago.
Yeah. I just want to talk about Corey for a minute.
Okay. He didn't have anything to do with any of this.
That's the thing. Like, Corey, how many dailies has Corey actually participated in this season?
He's lost a lot of partners, but sometimes he hasn't had to miss dailies because he gets teamed up with someone else for whatever reason. But yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row though that he's not been in the daily, right?
It's almost like he unintentionally has been coasting so far this season. I know there's been a couple things that he's competed in, but for the most part, he's not really done much because, again, he keeps losing all of his partners.
Well, Kyle yells at him in this. He's like, yeah, you could have done this if you didn't keep sending all your partners home. And, again, there were, other than the Gavin and Debbie thing, we had some great Devin banner and just yelling at Josh for. And to Josh's credit, I will say that rope of his was a little outside of his reach, and he just kind of froze. But then grabbing Nany's rope and then throwing her off balance, that just created a whole domino effect. But that happens, and then you get a lot more of Devin just leaning into it. And again, we like Devin. We think it's funny. We all think Josh is a disaster. And it's so funny that, like, 4 rounds later, he does the exact same thing.
Oh, it was really ironic.
And this is the difference between Devin and Josh, right? Is like Devin's aware.
He's
I pulled
like,
a Josh.
I did it.
I did it. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, he made jokes about it.
I mean, that's what's funny is Josh just pouted about it and was like so upset, and then Devin was like, it happened. It's just you got to know where your place is in the game, and I do think Nany and Josh would have had a decent shot just because Josh
is a great swimmer.
Yeah, he's in Miami. Seemed to grow up around the water.
Did you catch some of Devin's jokes that he made? Because like as soon as it happened, he just yelled out, "Classic Josh!" And then like he twirled his fingers and said, "The old wrong rope technique."
Yeah, I mean, again, like it's just on the spot, just completely going after it. It's no like what word am I looking for? Oh man, I just blanked out on it. It's no like secret that he does not like Josh or any of the Big Brother people.
No, like he fully leans into it.
So Nany's mad at Devin at this point because she gets worked up about things, and he's not going to back down about how mad he is. And then you get Fessy and Aneesa, and I looked at Hannah, and I was like, Aneesa's not going to last long on this. I was like, it's all upper body strength. And immediately falls right off. Like, she grabbed the rope, but immediately fell right beside the boat. And
again, just comparing to Josh, Aneesa was making all kinds of jokes about herself.
Yeah, later on we get Devin making the joke that him and Aneesa are the IT guys in the van, and all the other people are the field agents. Like they don't get to go out and do stuff.
Again, the self-awareness. I like self-aware people.
And Aneesa is like right there with him.
Yeah, Aneesa even said that she was just glad that despite her failure, that Josh and Nany were just more embarrassing than she was.
Some of you may be aware we have a patron named Kari.
Yeah.
Who is our resident Aneesa fan.
Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. Is that the joke, Jake?
I thought you were going.
I was about to change my tone as if I was talking to her. So Kari, if you're listening,
yes.
That is not what she sounds like.
That's not at all what she sounds like.
What do you got to say now? She's sliding down ropes like poop.
She called herself a turd.
She even called herself poop.
Does poop slide down ropes?
It slides out of your butthole.
Okay.
Which your intestine could be a rope if you take it out and you pull, and if you cut your stomach open and you take it out, it could be a rope.
Hannah's been playing Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. She's real.
That's a fatality.
Yeah. So
not necessarily.
Yes.
You wouldn't die
if you were disemboweled to the point to where you could make a rope out of your intestines. You would die.
If you just took your intestines out.
If you took your intestines out, you would be dead. If you had like the best doctors in the world do it, sure. But if you did it,
anybody in general cutting open themselves or another person to only take out intestines. I mean, even if a world-class surgeon takes out your intestines, they could still jump rope with it before putting it back.
Why would they put it back if in this scenario? You said they could take it out.
Yeah, because it's a rope.
This analogy's falling apart.
This is something I'd come up with.
Yeah.
Golly.
So when Lolo and Nam get up to, right before they get up to go, Lolo is doing, they do that like pre-round interview, and I don't remember what the exact thing was, but Lolo said something about like you have to grab the rope and hold on tight, and she's like, it's kind of like Nom's hugs, even though we've only had a few of those or something. And I was like, what a weird,
that's so uncomfortable.
What a weird reference. And
do you think that weirds him out, or do you think he even caught it?
I don't know. Well, later he
Nom was funny this episode.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, we did watch Nom's episode of Beastmaster between recordings. It's fine. I don't think I would ever go back. I don't think I would ever go back and watch that show again. But
I'd watch it if he was on another episode.
He's not.
When Zach says "we," he just means Zach and Han.
Yeah,
I did not watch it.
You didn't watch it. You could. It's on Netflix. It's free.
No, you should. He did a good job.
It's fine if you don't watch it. You're not going.
He did do a really good job. It was nice to see what he's actually capable of.
I don't have posters of Nom
or Non. You don't have like the bread.
Either one of them.
Non. I love Non.
Hanging up in my bedroom like you do. You got magazine clippings saved somewhere.
Hey, did you see that picture he posted on Instagram today?
No, Han, I don't follow him.
Didn't.
It was the first thing that popped up on Instagram when I opened the app.
What does that tell you, Zach?
I don't know. Just got a thing for Nom.
The algorithm works to my favor.
So after they go, Nom and Lolo says that was physically the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Hold on. In the middle of them going, why did she go to a backstroke?
I don't know.
She was yelling out the whole time. Can she not swim?
She started swimming, like veering way off to the right for a minute, and then
Nom even said he's like, I was just gonna let her go.
Her shoe came off, and she's like, that caused a lot of drag, and I was like, what? Like,
if anything, it would do the opposite, right?
I don't know. Again, I think it ultimately what this is going to come down to with Lolo is she has competed at such a low bar that she's just going to make excuses, and I don't think she can handle the fact that these non-professional athletes have beat her every single daily. And like, it's
especially
not even
this one.
It's not even been close. Like her Nom, like what's the best they finished in a daily?
Like 4th or 5th.
Like I don't even remember like them being in the top, like in the running of anything.
We've seen this even on the Champs Versus series, right? Like,
see, I don't remember much about her on that season.
I do.
No, but I'm just saying,
what made me not excited to see her on this season.
I'm just saying overall, like people who play the challenge against people who are professional athletes but don't play the challenge.
Remember T.O.?
Like it was.
Well, it's not even that. Like we've seen like legitimate like Division I athletes come right off of college and like come into this, and they're some of the worst people to ever be on the show.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Not Tennessee Titans Derrick Henry.
No. We did have a Tennessee Titans on Champs Versus, though, Cameron Wembley. And he actually did really good. But the thing is, like, Derrick Henry was like a Division I college basketball player. He averaged like double-digit points per game. And then it's just it's not the same skill set. Like, it doesn't translate. There are athletic parts to it, but it's
not the same.
No. And so she's like, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And then that's when Devin misses the rope, and it was really funny. But then Big T and CT get going, and they get on the ropes.
Well, beforehand, CT hyping Big T up, like over the top hyping her up, got me a little hyped up.
You got to if you're CT, because you think at this point you have no chance to win this.
It just, like, it was so fun to watch. I loved it.
Again, Big T's going to get some credit in this episode for sure. She does great on the it's just funny, like she just like grabs right on the rope. She's small, so she doesn't have as much to hold up, but she's got good technique. She wrapped her leg underneath the other one to like really stabilize herself, and they take off. And I will say, because this is something Lolo's been harping on Twitter afterwards, I did think that they went past the drop zone by just a little bit, watching it real time.
Do you think it was just the angle of the camera?
Well, Lolo has come out and said, which again, if you believe her at face value, you can't, because there's just a lot to that.
Well, she didn't do well because her boot came off.
She said that the producers they dropped late and they should have been disqualified. Which on just a purely competition level, I don't necessarily disagree with that. Like, if that's the rules, then that's the rules.
Well, if it was the producers' faults, then wouldn't there just need to be a restart rather than saying they should have been disqualified?
Well, no, she was saying they changed the outcome of it. They let them do it. But the thing is, like, even if they did go over the line just a little bit,
TJ said it wasn't even close.
That's the thing. He was like, they blew him away. Like, usually I give you really close times. Like, oh, they won by 10 seconds or whatever. He's like, it's not even close. And, like, Big T, it's so funny that this Daily just happened to cater to her very specific skill set that we didn't know anything about, because she was like, well, I didn't want to tell anyone in case I didn't do good, which is a very humble way to approach things. Again, if she was on a show called Let's Be Best Friends, she'd win every time.
Yeah, she would. She'd win every time, and then they'd make her the host. She'd be the TJ Lavin of that show.
Like, her background apparently is, oh, I was on the swim team, and yeah, I was taking pole dancing lessons. And so that's the two exact things that combined in this Daily. And so they killed it, and, like, it was not even close. And I think that is what's really pushed Lolo to, like, her breaking point, is, like,
she saw how poorly she performed.
Yes.
And then immediately after her, that was what followed her.
I actually wrote Big T winning is going to push Lolo over the edge.
Yeah.
Because it's just like,
because of who it is.
And because, to be fair, like, completely, we've talked about it, like, Big T should not be a threat in this game physically.
But she was this time.
Yeah, she did great in this Daily. Like, again, like, credit where credit's due. However, we'll talk. I'll get to that in a little bit. But
it's cool though. It's cool though. Like, we've seen so many different iterations of CT. I mean, this is like proud dad CT.
Yes,
and when they got in the boat, he was just screaming and yelling that he couldn't believe how well she did.
Yeah, and then
he was so excited
because, again, she didn't tell anyone. She's like, I was on the swim team and whatever. And so, again, she did great. This one, like, when they won that other Daily, we're like, well, that was CT. Big T did her part. Like, she blew everyone away.
She beat him to the platform.
And like, even if Lolo was correct about whatever, like, the people on the beach, they showed all the reactions, and they're like, they won. They're like, they killed everybody just now. And like, they win, which is what CT needed. They get back in the house. CT is basically telling, kind of creeping around to different rooms, telling them he's going to need some help going forward. He's wanting to kind of get the votes rallied his way. And he said, give me the goof. Like, that's the thing. Because
he went to talk with Leroy and Cam and Kyle, and then Anissa, who said she didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, and it was funny that they then cut to Josh, and then they put a lower third that just says, the goof. And
that's good comedic timing right there.
It's, again, the editing on this season's been really
great,
spot on. But again, he wants the chance to go at Josh because, one, he's close with Devin, but two,
Josh has been getting on his nerves.
Well, not even that. That's a given. If you watched the eliminations this season, like, Devin beat Wes, and Devin has beat Bananas before. Like, Josh was in the worst elimination possibly ever and barely won. And I don't mean it was a bad elimination just for our strategy or the setup. Like, it was just one of the worst performed on both ends that I've ever seen. And it's just he wants the goof. Give me the goof. And I don't blame him one bit.
Well, I think it was after the Bubble Club.
Well, I'm not to the bubble
club
yet.
No, I know.
Okay.
I was just to stick with the Josh theme.
Thank you for calling it the Bubble Club.
Yes. He what a delusion and what a weird world this guy lives in. Because he at one point says that once he catches wind that CT is going to want to go against him, one, that he isn't scared to go against CT, which
total lie,
and two, that he has nothing to prove.
Again, just not true.
Like, it's just this guy, right?
That's what's so funny between, like, him and Devin is, like, Devin's like, we're the two people want. Like, it is what it is. We know what it is. Like, that's all it comes down to. He's like, but I know it. Like, I know what's happening. And it's just he does. He lives in his own fantasy world. and it's bizarre to watch. It's one of the most perplexing cast members I think we've ever had on, as far as trying to figure out where their head's at.
Very entertaining TV though. Like it's gonna when he's on the season, you're gonna pay attention because you want to know what he's gonna say next.
Oh yeah, I mean, Josh is very polarizing, and like we don't like him, and he's very annoying, and the cast seems to not like him to a big extent. But like he does at least give you something to watch, and that can't be said for most of these rookies. And you know, a lot of even some of the other people we've seen over the years, like there's a lot of people who are cast on this show for a long time who have not given you as much watchability as what Josh has, even if it's at his own detriment sometimes. Most of the time.
Which is okay. Well, at the exact same time that CT is trying to strategize with the rest of the house, Lolo is crying to Nom.
I didn't even write about
again
this one.
Because they didn't win the daily. And Nom, at this point, I think he's just given up trying to console her because he knows no matter what he says, she's not going to care. She's not going to listen. She's going to blame him. And then it's not going to get anywhere. Also, this was the point where it was just solidified for me. I knew for a fact she was about to quit.
A quick point just to kind of draw back to Lolo. Lolo is 38 years old.
Yeah.
She is not like a 23-year-old who's just figuring out the world. Like, she is well-traveled, well-seasoned, and has done... This is her 4th reality show. She is not... Like, she's 10 to 15 years older than some of these people, and she is completely falling apart. And... maybe that's part of it. I don't know, but it is what it is, and that's my big gripe with her. Whenever it comes down to it, is like this isn't some new territory for her. She's done these shows before, like type of shows. She's done Big Brother. She's done the challenge stuff, and there was one other thing she did, and I don't even remember what it was.
Did you know Big T's 29?
I don't know.
I was pegging her for like 23. I was gonna see the age difference between her and Lolo.
I figured she's about 25, if I was being honest, but I didn't know because again we didn't watch what she came from. So actually, before we go any further, we're gonna take another quick break. All right, we're back, and Bubble Club time. Before that gets going, we have this like big grand entrance from Big T and CT wearing sunglasses inside at nighttime.
Big T's outfit was just...
I only remember the pink hair.
Oh, my gosh. I'd pay all my money for that outfit. And I'd wear it every day.
No.
Yes.
Because then that would be all of my money, too.
What's his is yours, and what's yours is his.
Exactly. I tell him that all the time.
Or like on The Little Rascals, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is ours.
Oh, that's a great movie.
It is a great movie. So they're in the Bubble Club, and I was telling Hannah, I was like, look for Lolo. I don't know if she's here. She's probably leaving. And so she actually is in there, but she's like sitting on a couch, like not doing anything. And so we get a Nany and Leroy conversation because again they've got 12, 13 years, 10 years friendship at this point. Like
that's a lot.
When was that Real World season? Like 2012? Do you remember, Jake?
They did the 10-year celebration.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like we just talked about this last week.
Oh, but it got cut out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay. So, yeah, it was 10 years ago. And so they've got a long, established friendship. And Leroy tells her he wants to throw in Devin. And...
well, he tells Nany about CT's plans. And then she's like, well... who do you want? And he's like, well, I want Devin.
It's not like it was a secret. Like, CT's not like, hey, don't tell anybody, but I want... He's like, it's very clear CT is friends with Devin and would rather go against Josh. Anyone who watched that elimination would be killing to go against Josh.
Yeah.
And so they... Leroy wants to throw in Devin, and it does make sense because Leroy is aligned with Big Brother. And so the more numbers you have, the better it is. Because you could say a lot of things about Josh, but he is loyal to his alliance and his friends. And So the more numbers you have, the better it is in the long term. And if you've already got a gold skull, why shake things up? That's why I don't blame Darrell necessarily for voting the way he did. I didn't like how Darrell voted, but he's aligned with Big Brother just by his partner. As long as they're partners, he's got the numbers with them. And so I did think it was funny that I don't remember who I was talking, but it was Big T and Gabby and someone else. And Gabby had zero clue what Devin was doing.
It was Lolo.
Okay, had no clue what Devin was doing by talking to Amber. And Big T was like, yeah, I get what he's doing. Like, he's, he's trying to get the numbers on his side. Whatever. I was like, good for you, Big T. I was like, you're figuring it out. Like
she's a smart little cookie.
Gabby was just clueless. She's like, I can't believe he's talking to my arch rival.
Well, that was the thing. Like, she was complaining about this to Lolo and Big T.
There's no controversy.
Listen, Big T was trying to be like, well, yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, he's doing that. And Lolo was like shaking her head, like, and I knew for a fact that she was agreeing with Gabby. Like, I can't believe he's doing this.
Of course she can't, because again, they might as well bring Josh in and just be like the three amigos of not understanding anything. Mm-hmm. And Three Amigos is a great movie, by the way. So again, I was like, Big T gets it. She knows what's going on. And then we kind of get a confessional of CT explaining that, I don't really know where Darrell is. We've got this long, relationship. I've known him for over a decade or whatever. And Darrell actually on Twitter today, I'm glad we hadn't recorded yet, he's like, I don't know CT anything. He's like, you saw how he did and whatever. And I mean, they've never been aligned, right? The only thing you could look back on is, oh, well, we're both veterans of the challenge.
And they've been on a lot of the same seasons.
They haven't actually, though.
Really?
No, like Darrell's run was early on. Like his
pre-CT?
His 4-win thing. And yeah, and even like Fresh Meat 2 or whatever, where he went home early, CT wasn't on that season. Like, they haven't overlapped as much as you would think because they're such big names.
Well, so CT just assumes that they're tight by association.
Well, and if they did overlap, it's when CT was at his worst.
Yeah, but even on the Duel 2, like, Darrell wasn't on that season.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know, like, you would think that they've been on a lot more, but I really don't think they have. What was the one where Darrell punched Brad in the face?
The Ruins.
So CT was probably on that season, right? Oh, he may have not been. Yeah, so again, like, they don't overlap very much at all. And so it's you would think they might have this friendly relationship, but they don't. And again, I didn't like what Darrell did ultimately, but I get why he did it. So that's when Josh says he's not scared of CT, and I was like, sure. And at that point, I was like, Darrell's going to be the swing vote in this.
Wouldn't you have loved nothing more than to just see CT just totally embarrass him? Because no matter what it was going to be, that's what it was going to be, was an embarrassment.
I will say he might have had an okay shot at what we think the elimination's going to be, because it's that one that Cam and Ashley did, right? And Josh is tall. But the coordination's not there like with CT. Yeah. So that would be my only thing. If it's anything else, like, again, like, CT's got it. And
but seeing that and knowing who's going into elimination now, since we're talking about that elimination that seemed to be set up, like, if anybody's going to be able to figure that out against CT, it's Devin, right?
That's the thing.
The money's got to be on CT. Again, we don't know what happens yet officially, but
yeah, I still place my bet on CT winning, but for an elimination, this is not Hall Brawl, and it's not the rope pulling thing that he beat Wes on. This is about one of the best case scenarios for Devin. Seeing what the elimination is, it significantly heightened his chances of winning. Yeah. Not making it even or outperforming CT's chances. It just significantly heightened the chances of him pulling this off.
Yeah, so the only thing I would say is just, like, context clues of this season on the challenge and stuff. Like, I think they kind of tip their hand onto what happens later on, but we'll see. Maybe sometimes, because we do have a security breach, which we'll get to that in a minute. But I thought the vote was going to be really close and Darrell was going to be the swing vote. But then you had the whole twist of Leroy and Cam not voting for either of them.
Burn vote.
It was a burn vote. And
it's not a burn vote. Why do people not get that?
So it is a burn vote. It worked out very well for them. Last night I agreed with you. I was like, it's not a burn vote. And then, because we've seen it, where if you burn this late in the game, it can turn. Although this is a secret vote, so it's not quite the same. The reason it worked out for them is because the numbers were aligned to vote Devin in anyway. And so CT didn't see Cam and Leroy's face on who voted for Devin. And so in his mind, unless they tell him, he could assume it's the other way around. But if the numbers didn't line up exactly right, he would have saw Josh was the vote, and he'd be like, well, where's Cam and Leroy? Who'd they vote for? They must have voted for Devin. So it could have came back to bite them. The numbers were on their side in this one. And so it actually did work out as an okay burn vote overall, because Leroy was like, yeah, we were playing the real double agents or whatever. And I was like, it was a 50-50 shot. Like, you just had the numbers on your side. So that happens. Darrell, obviously, we saw voted for Devin, and that kind of swung things. And Kyle is disgusted. He cannot believe Darrell would do them that way. And he said a lot of things that I'm not going to say on here. But he was so upset with what Darrell did, probably more than Devin or CT was.
Yeah, for sure.
And
he was distraught over it.
It's that happens. You see two completely different reactions. So that happens, and then you get Josh in like the next room, and then he's crying because he's like, "I got friends," and they voted.
Which, you know what? Sometimes when you sit and think about like having loyal friends that have your back, that'll make you cry. I've done it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We're not. I'm not talking about Josh crying because of that. The thing it comes down to is, more people just want Devin gone that are not aligned. I mean, that are aligned with Big Brother than are loyal to Josh. People,
you think it's Devin's rookie mistake every year that he can't stop talking. He's been getting on everybody's nerves, and they'd rather just go ahead and get him out as opposed to the first thing on their mind is protecting Josh.
And Josh is in a big alliance that has a lot of power right now, not from his own doing, but just because they've got some big name players locked in with
by
him.
association.
Yeah. And so it's more so, well, we're going to get Devin out because, one, he's annoying, and two, he's not in our alliance. And good for Josh. You got friends. Nani thinks you're creepy, but whatever. Although I think they were actually really close in real life. But
even Corey in this moment called him a big kid, which still
that's not a compliment.
No.
So here's where we got to really get into it. Lolo basically starts packing stuff and is like, all right, guys, I'm leaving. And
Big T came in first to be like, hey, are you okay? What's going on? And she's like, I'm leaving.
So I got to pull up something on Twitter real quick. Let me look at this. You guys talk about it amongst yourselves.
The thing was, like, when she starts telling Big T what's going on, everybody else in the house just kind of slowly starts piling in. Nom has a shocked little face, but I don't think he's all that shocked. I think he's just surprised maybe that she's actually going through with it. I think everybody kind of knew it was coming. What got me was the fact that she started off like giving a speech to everybody in the house that was standing there, saying how, oh, well, I could be here doing this and you guys won't give me a chance to really compete when I could be at home training for the Olympics, the Olympics. And like, Jake, how many times did she say the word Olympics?
The whole tone of the thing was just weird, and it was
really weird.
So yeah, that's my big thing is they were spinning this as like, oh, this is some celebratory moment that she's like standing up for her country, whatever. And I was like, no, she's quitting.
No, she even in a confessional she said, well, I could be here earning this easy money, this easy $1 million.
Devin was like, an easy million, like I wish.
And the thing is, I think it's the opposite of an easy $1 million because she can't even get in the running for it.
Okay, so here's where I'm gonna I'm going to get into this.
Are you going to give her quote about what her training has taught her?
I don't care what she says.
She said she told everybody she's doing what her training has taught her
to quit.
And then we were like, to quit?
Yeah. So last night on Twitter and stuff, I was like, I can't believe they spun this into like a positive thing. She's quit the show. And then some people are like, well, apparently there was some like mental whatever. And I was like, well, then why don't you just say that? And like, they did that with Leo. Like, Leo was like, hey, I'm not in the right headspace right now. And although I was like, I hate that he's leaving, because we had already had a couple people injury DQ at that point. And Leo was an interesting guy. He's a wrestler. He's small, but he's a good athlete.
He was able to flip some of those guys over that were twice his size.
Yeah, and so I hated that Leo was leaving. This is not that at all. And so Lolo has come out and said that production made her leave. And I had actually heard that in the past, but she's spinning it as, oh, they made me leave, but I'm so glad because I get to focus on whatever, not even addressing the issue. And someone that follows us sent me some things, and she's like, I know you guys don't do spoilers, obviously, and she's like, but since Lolo's gone, this is the information that was out before the season even started.
Wow.
And
what was it?
Basically, and this is from the Gamer Vev and Pink Rose and all the people who typically know what's going on. And I will say, just we knew at one point there was a bounty out for Pink Rose with money attached to it. Not to kill her or whoever it is.
You didn't clarify that soon enough. Just to if anyone can ID who it is, production was not happy about that. So, anyway, they said she was removed from the show because of some things that she said to Josh and Casey. And it was not that she threatened to like harm anybody or anything, but that what she said triggered something in production to where they were like, this is such an insurance liability that we have to get her out of here. And because she could snap.
Yeah. And again, like they're like, they actually on the thing they sent me said, we're not going to get into what was actually said, but because, that kind of concerns her mental state. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. Even if production made her quit, she had so deteriorated to the point where she was like, think about if you're a world-class athlete and you're daily getting beat by these guys who you just see partying and whatever, like we already saw she's like, she was delusional. Like, she's blaming Nam for everything. Every other reality show she's been on, people are like, she is crazy. Like, everyone who watched her on Big Brother, that was their takeaway from it. And like, she shouldn't, if that's the case, put herself in these situations. But like, she was going to quit. We all saw it. We all saw the writing on the wall. And I don't know. It feels like there was definitely some stuff behind the scenes because they spun it in such a weird way. Like, you either have, if someone quits, like TJ saying, I hate that you're doing this.
We won't see you.
Exactly.
See you never or whatever.
Or you have something like what happened with Leo where he's like, hey,
not in a healthy mental state. My wife is home pregnant. I need to be with her.
And TJ addressed it and was like, MTV has in the last few seasons been very kind of proactive about that. And the fact that they're not even trying to show this part of it, because again, how hard would it be to say, this game's really getting to me. I'm not where I need to be. I've got the Olympics coming up, and I just need to be in a place where I can focus on that and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's easy. Like, you can knock that out because she's still got to film a lot of these confessionals probably after the stuff's wrapped.
Yeah.
And they did not do that at all. And so there's definitely something else. The only other time I ever remember anything for, like, insurance liability reasons, when Camilla on Champs Versus stole a golf cart, hit a production member, not with a golf cart, but hit somebody, and then barred herself in a room and was like, I'm going to kill myself. And they're like, you got to get out of here. And it obviously wasn't to that, but from the thing that I just read, they were like, maybe what Lolo said to them is normal in her her like mind frame, competitive, whatever. But whatever it was, like triggered enough to where they're like, "Hey, let's just get out of here."
And if you think about it, it's got to be pretty major, because if you take a look at how many people have been disqualified, and quit or sent home or whatever, they should be doing everything they can to prevent anybody else from doing this.
You know how much it would suck if you're the production crew and you've taken so many precautions with COVID and being safe and doing all this stuff, and then you've had all these people go home for stuff that's completely out of your control.
Like fluke things where they're injured or broke their arm or leg.
I mean, no one did that, but it's just stuff like that. But anyway, like that doesn't detract from Lolo was incredibly like toxic and manipulative this whole season, and apparently has been like that on most other things. And she had been threatening to quit the whole time. Like, to me, she is a quitter, even if they forced her hand to get off the show. And
I think she would have done it anyway.
Honestly, like, she shouldn't be back.
No, because that's the thing. Anytime anybody willingly quits this show, they don't get callbacks.
Seems to be some real deep-rooted issues here, right?
Yeah.
Because you do continue to factor in her age.
That's why I brought that up earlier, because I was like, this isn't like some unstable like college kid. Like, she should be old enough to process through these emotions.
And then the fact that, she's never been intimate with anyone, waiting for marriage, right? Which we applaud. I mean,
again, it's her choice.
Great. Yeah. But at the same time, speaks to why stuff like this probably speaks to why she's still maybe 38 and not with someone, but like there's like, some weird stuff with her.
From everything that I've seen from her on the shows, it seems like she has a lot of like interpersonal problems. Like, again, like what Hannah said earlier, like if you have to have a coach to like mediate between you and like a teammate, like that, there's some issues there. And like, I don't want to, what I said a second ago, like she should be old enough to process through things at her age. I just meant like when it comes to working with a teammate or a partnership or whatever, like obviously if there's some chemical imbalances or whatever, that happens. But like, you would think you wouldn't be on this many of these shows if that's like a thing that... Like,
stop choosing to put yourself in an environment that is toxic to your health.
I legitimately think she like was like, oh, it is an easy $1 million. Why wouldn't I destroy these people? Because I'm a world-class athlete, which she is. But
she's not destroying them, and
she has performed subpar the entire season. Like, Jake took her 3rd overall, and I don't blame him for doing that, because like her pedigree of she's an Olympic like gold medalist. Like, she should have destroyed everyone. And it's just like, if you were that level of an athlete and you are used to winning or whatever, like it would wear on you seeing how bad you've done. And maybe that's why she projects it all on Nam, because she's like, well, I know I'm good. Like, what are you doing? But it's not been that at all.
Bringing it to a lighter note.
I mean, it's a thing you got to talk
heavy. About. As she was giving her speech about how she's wasting her time in this house when she could be at home training for the Olympics, because she said the training for the Olympics like 72 times in the speech. Kyle's in the back laughing.
Yeah, like
just laughing.
Like, that's the thing. Like, the whole house is gathered around, and they're like making it. They edited it to be this like, oh, congratulations, you're going to the Olympics. But like every girl in the house is like, yeah, go home. Like, great.
Here, let me help you pack.
If she makes a final, like, she's going to still be. She was going to be a threat. And
maybe. I mean, look at how she's competed.
Yeah, but I mean, if it's any sort of like an individual final,
then yes, it's a different story.
She can just focus on yelling at herself, I guess. But that happens, and then you got like everyone in the house. Like, I don't think she's going to walk away with this with a positive relationship with anyone. Nam seems to be one of the more level-headed people, and even in his confessionals,
very peaceful, trying to be friends with everybody.
He's like, screw it, I don't know what to say. It's like, it is what it is.
Yeah, he was like, good luck in the Olympics. Maybe I'll come see you.
It's like, nah.
And then he goes, I love you. And then he goes, wait, not like that.
Yeah.
Which was so
Oh,
funny.
yeah, he'd say I love you. And then he was like, well, I like you. And he's like, well, I don't know.
Because he knew that she liked him, and if he said love you like you say love you to a friend,
she's gonna turn into
she
Josh.
She would take it the wrong way, and so he backpedaled as quick as he could.
I mean, if anything, her and Josh should just talk it out and see what happens there.
That's a reality show.
I could see that.
That would be one of the craziest shows of all time if you had them two like put. What was that show where the guy from the Brady Bunch like lived with that model that was on VH1? It's just imagine that, but them two. That's a good show.
It'd be great. Final thoughts: quitting because you're frustrated with everyone in the house.
I didn't have a final thought yet.
Quitting because you're frustrated with everyone in the house is not an honorable way to do things. It's not an honorable move.
Agreed.
I don't applaud you.
And I will say, like, people that are just taking Lolo's tweets at face value definitely would take that with a huge grain of salt based on everything you've seen and how she completely, like, gaslit Nam into, he's always the problem.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you could take
Let's talk about gaslighting.
I don't think you can take the word directly from her as far as what actually happened. Maybe production did remove her and it was a blessing or whatever, but, like, I think we all agree, like, she was on the verge of quitting for, like, the last 6 episodes. Mm-hmm. And, again, if this was, like, her other thing was, well, I saw that production had rigged this to whatever, and I was like, we're on daily 11. Like, this isn't like it's, like, week 1 or 2, and you're like, oh, well, I don't like how this is going. Like, let's get out of here. Like, you're 11 weeks into the, not probably, but it's probably 6 weeks or so into it. And it's like, this shouldn't be, like, news to you at this point. You know how the shows ran. So, anyway, we get to the crater. They show who got voted in. Devin and Gabby go down. And
Gavin and Debbie.
It's got to be a guy's elimination. Like, it just is, because
Corey doesn't have a partner.
Corey's already without a partner. Now Nam's without a partner. And so some people on our Patreon and our Slack group were like, oh, there's a security breach. Does that mean it's like a double elimination? And they're bringing like a heavy hitter to go against someone. And I was like, I have a feeling that it's going to be they're going to give Nam another partner. That's what I'm taking away from it.
That's got to be it.
Because that's what they did with bringing Ashley back. Mm-hmm. When who
Natalie was sent home.
No, was it Natalie or was it Liv?
Natalie was medically disqualified.
Well, I knew
when
Liv
she
was
was partners with Corey, and they brought back Ashley, who was then partners with Corey.
Yeah, and TJ, when she was sent home the last time, was like, well, this is for sure the last time she's coming back. So I think what's going to happen is going to be a guy's elimination. It's going to be Devin versus CT, because CT's going to put himself in. He's too smart to not go after this opportunity. And then they're going to give Nam a partner. What's going to suck for Nam is if it's the last one out, which would be Amber M.
Unless what they do is they bring in the female for security breach, have the male elimination, whoever wins. If it's CT choose either Gabby or the new female partner.
CT gets his pick of anyone if he wins.
Yep. I know. CT can choose either Gabby, the security breach female partner, or anybody up front.
No.
We don't know who it is. But again, just to get my point across, if they're giving options there, and then
I don't think that. I think it's going to be a 1-to-1 thing. I think they're going to partner Nam with someone, probably Amber M, if I'm being honest.
Please no.
If that's what we got a cliffhanger for.
Yeah, that's.
I'm going to be really mad about that.
Jake and I were talking about that before we started recording. We're like, if that's the cliffhanger, like, that sucks.
No, if anything, make it the second girl that went home.
So
who was that? Who was the second girl to go home?
Second to last. Tori? It could be Tori.
No, the second girl that went, because they brought Ashley back because she was the first girl to go home, wasn't she?
Yeah.
On elimination, so they would maybe since Ashley missed her chance, they go next in line. The second girl that went home on an elimination.
It would have been Tori still, because like you had
you think they're keeping them stocked away somewhere for that long?
Well, that's the thing, is that's why I think Amber M is the likely one, because she was the most recent out. Because, again, Nicole Z, disqualified. Natalie, disqualified. Ashley eliminated twice. Tori eliminated. Liv was DQ'd. So, like,
Teresa?
The only people that have been eliminated is Ashley twice, Tori, and then Teresa. Teresa's the most recent. I mean,
now,
out of those,
Teresa would be worth a cliffhanger.
Except that she said she had a torn labrum and like tore that in the middle of the season, and so I don't know. Teresa, I agree. If it's Amber M, that sucks for Nom and for it being a cliffhanger.
I hope it's Tori. I really hope it's Tori.
Same here,
because
Han.
I agree. Well, Jake's got other reasons.
You know what?
For that.
I don't even care. I hope it's Tori because I want Nom to have a good partner and to actually be able to compete.
I do think Tori's kind of overrated for looking back, but
she's a lot better than Lolo.
I think
sure.
I think Ashley with Nom would be awesome.
We talked about this last week, because I think Ashley and Nom would get along very well. I think they'd be really good partners. She would be very accommodating to him.
But then she would have his back and, like, getting stuff for him. Like, she wouldn't fight with him. She would stick up for him.
Exactly.
We get a cliffhanger. So, obviously, CT's going to go in, like we said. The money would be on CT winning. We saw what the elimination is, but we do know that they've been adding twists to all these eliminations they brought back, so there's going to be something different in it.
Well, when Devin looked at it, he said that it was the same elimination that Cam and Ashley did, except this time they were further apart.
But there's got to be something other than just being further, because they've added like some extra step along the way. But beyond that, like, someone in our Slack group brought up, which I didn't even think about it, and I think Wes tweeted today about it, if, like, Darrell was the House vote, and then CT is the one to go in, like, what happens? CT and Darrell neither one have skulls, so it would just be taking someone out for the sake of taking someone out. And so at that point, you would have to, if you're CT, just put someone in with a skull.
Yeah,
and then
just give it to Darrell.
Yeah. And I was like, I didn't even think about that.
I didn't either.
And because all the skulls are gone. And so you have to go against someone that's got one. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting going forward. I think, this is my speculation. Again, we don't know anything. I think CT wins. And I think he is going to dump Big T as a partner. And it's going to cause some issues.
I don't know. I don't know if he will.
Absolutely. I don't think it's even a debate. Like, props to Big T for doing really well in this daily, but if you're CT or anyone that is playing with your brain instead of your heart,
he's going for Cam.
He's either going for Cam or like Casey, somebody like that. And there's 0% chance to me that if CT wins, he's sticking with Big T. I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't think it's me. I think that is.
I think he'll stay with Big T.
I think you are very.
The common theme throughout this season has been his regret for how he handled the Cam thing from the start.
And
I understand that.
Why do you think he'll stay with Big T?
Because he said like 2 weeks ago, he's like, I'm just going to ride it out.
And we said
maybe this is not my season.
And we saw a cliffhanger. I mean, we saw a season preview where she's upset at him about breaking a promise about something.
And what's a promise he's made, Han?
That's the only one that I know of, because he's been very, very choosy about his words that he uses with her. That's the only thing he said that's even remotely close to a promise. So unless there's something else down the road, but I don't even think it's a possibility that if you have $1 million on the line, that you're like, yeah, I'm going to stay with this person who's literally done nothing except this one daily. In 3 seasons. 3 seasons. Like... that's the thing. Credit to her for this daily, but not a chance.
This is one great performance out of.
It's like when you have like some like into the bench guy like Brian Scalabrine come in to score 12 points in a blowout game, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, and if someone offers you, Kobe was around during Scalabrine, rest in peace. It's like, if you get offered up Kobe for Scalabrine, you're not going to keep Scalabrine.
Yeah, which is basically what Cam and Big T are to each other. And by all accounts, Brian Scalabrine was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's even debatable that he'd switch if he wins. But so do you guys have anything else yet with this episode?
No.
Okay. So let's get into the superlatives for this episode. Does anybody want to go first? I'll go first. I don't care. All right, I'm going to go first. So who smashed some hits? I'm giving it to Big T.
Yep. It should be Big T across the board.
We'll see what Jake says, but I mean, again, she had a specific skill set that killed it. She didn't tell anyone beforehand that she had these skills because she's like, I don't want to, if I don't do good, I don't want to, act like I'm a big whatever. But like, she killed it. They did well in the thing. It put CT in a great position to get his skull, and I think this episode is Big T. I don't think I ever imagined myself saying that. I think next week she's probably going to get her head smashed pretty good, but we'll see. Who wants to go next?
I said Big T.
Yeah, well, I didn't, Han. I went with your guy, Nom, for keeping his cool during the whole Lolo fiasco.
He always keeps his cool.
He was just kind of checked out this episode.
He is like ice.
A gargoyle. He didn't have any, hard substance references this episode, did he?
He referenced time again.
Time is not a hard substance.
Sometimes it's a hard concept.
But it's a...
Well... I think we might have a unanimous who got their head smashed. Maybe not, but it's Lolo.
Lolo to herself.
Lolo.
Yeah,
especially
it's
with the Olympics speech.
She does not deserve to come back on this show ever again. I don't want to see her on a Champs Versus. I don't want to see her on a Big Brother, which we're not going to watch Big Brother anyway. But she doesn't deserve it. Just move on with your life.
I'll give an honorable mention to Josh for being turned down by his best friend.
Yeah.
Even she thinks he's a creep.
Yeah. Typically, your best friends do turn you down because you aren't. And I can fully speak to that situation. Mm-hmm. I think Jake and I have both been in situations before where you when you're younger. By the way, we were like 14 or 15. You attach feelings to someone that you're close with just whatever you're into. I was gonna say the opposite sex for us, but it happens. But we also were very young at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Not however old Josh is. How old is Josh? Probably 27?
I don't know.
Jake, look up how old Josh is.
Oh, come on, man.
No, look it up.
Yeah, okay.
So for Song of the Week, for me, I'm going to stick with my theme that I started last week. It's going to be an ongoing one for as much as I want it to be. I'm going to pick another Japanese band. And for this one...
You're going to butcher their name again?
I didn't butcher their name.
You did last week.
No, I butchered the name of the song, not the band name.
Okay.
The name of the song, it was a word that I still don't know how to describe. But this band is called Maximum the Hormone, and the song is Alien, but it's A-L-I-E-N, or it's also in Japanese in most places, but on Spotify, just look for Alien. Great song. They're a heavy band, and I will say, listen to it. Actually, just go watch the music video, but...
Oh, is this the one where it...
Yeah, about 2/3 of the way through the song, it just completely changes.
Into a different song.
Yeah, it's real weird, but it's great, though. So that's mine, Maximum the Hormone, and then Alien.
Mine is Slow Dancing by Allie and AJ. I was super, super, super duper into Allie and AJ back in their heyday. Potential breakup song was... Song of the Century, and then
and
then
right
at
I don't think anyone in their life has ever said that.
Right at the end of last year, they released a remix of Potential Breakup Song where they kind of revamped it and then made it a little more adult, and it bangs even harder than the original, so that made me check them out on Spotify. They've still been making music the last couple years, and so this song
Did you know that, Jake?
They've still been making music. It's
only Allie I'm familiar with is Austin and Allie.
Wait, who's Austin and Allie?
That's my youngest sister's era.
But
that's 10 years post Allie and AJ.
No, but this girl is Disney Channel affiliated.
Allie and AJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, Allie was on Phil of the Future.
Yeah, so she is from Disney Channel.
Okay.
She was in a Disney Channel original movie too.
She was in that one about the magician.
Yes.
I didn't know that they were still making music.
It's really folksy.
I can't imagine what superlative you would give them if you gave the original version Song of the Century. Now that they've made a better version, I don't even think their mom would be like, you know what, that is the Song of the Century.
Anyway, Slow Dancing by Allie and AJ. It is so chill. It's really good to just play in the background or to play in the car while you drive down the road. It's so like it made me feel good to listen to.
I'm going back to my roots tonight.
DC talk.
We're going metal. The band is called Victims, but no I. It's just VCTMS.
Are you sure that's what it's supposed to pronounce?
It's Victims. It's Victims.
That's a trend. Like, there's a band called Reviver that it's like RV. I don't know. Something.
The song is called Carefully Caged. It's heavy. It's nothing quite like a good banger with just some heavy guitar and drums. But I will say next week we'll probably have Architects on there because they, as we're speaking, just dropped their latest album.
You can't preempt the song.
I can.
No. We'll have to edit that out. We'll have to just beep it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's take a quick break and then we'll get into the fantasy stuff. All right, Jake, you want to take it away?
Yeah, we're going to jump right into this. We're not wasting time this week. We're going right into it. Just smack to the face, getting in there. Darrell hasn't got a gold skull, and it's a problem. -5. Did you get that, Zach?
Yeah. I'm not going to stop you unless I need you to.
Amber B got her eye on y'all. 5 points. Devin can't help but to be himself. We don't see any problem with that. 5 points. Also 5 points to Devin for being aware of his, I guess, supposed annoyance.
Yeah.
CT is locked out. -5. But people are afraid of CT, so another 5 to CT. +5.
Yeah, I got it.
Josh doesn't want to go into elimination again. There seems to be a flip-flop here. So -5 for that. He's also being way too creepy these days. -5.
And I don't think you're even at the part where Nani and him talk about their feelings.
We're getting there now. Nani has drawn Josh's love. -5 to Nani. Even Nani wouldn't date Josh.
I feel like you're victim blaming a little bit there.
-5 to Josh. CT with the biohacks. That was wild. 5 points.
Yeah. We still don't know what it was.
Big T's afraid of pillows. -5. But this partnership. 5 points to CT and Big T.
All right.
Amber B is bad at intimidation. -5. Darrell compares peaches and asparagus. 5 points. Nam is talking about time again. 5 points. Everyone seems to be concerned for Lolo. We'll give her 5.
I don't think anyone was concerned for her, but I'll give it to you. But
Nani gets excited about helicopters. 5 points.
She was really excited about that daily.
And then that's funny considering how bad they did.
Casey had her hair down, which is a wild look, but we'll give her 5 for the change-up.
She's at the bottom.
Yeah, I couldn't find her.
Right. We've celebrated her for her facial expressions this season. She gave us another one. 5 points to Anissa. Darrell is a superhero in a movie, so he says 5 points. Another 5 to Darrell for the Gavin and Debbie reference.
Yeah. That should be 10 points.
I agree. Give him 10.
10.
Actually,
10.
Jake's so far behind, it doesn't even matter.
Darrell wants his kids to know anything is possible. That right there is another 10 in my opinion.
10?
For the kids. He's FTK.
He is FTK.
So, 10 points.
Give him 10.
Oh, my God. So
he ain't going to do nothing the rest of the episode.
Well, here's the thing. If we get to the end of the season and you win or beat someone out by 5 or 10 points, like, this is the moment.
Sure. Let's see. Kyle is a shark. 10 points.
Yeah.
Cam and
10?
Kyle. Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
He's a shark.
Okay. This seemed pretty high.
Cam and Kyle are impressed with each other. 5 points to each of them. Nobody breaking up the killers. 5 points to Cam and Kyle.
He just gave him. All
right. Josh is still really dumb and missed the rope. -10. Also knocked Nani off. So
Yeah,
another
it's like
another negative 10.
What?
Yes. Equally as stupid.
Yeah.
5 points to Devin with the "what a big dummy" quote.
I didn't even catch that one. I got the other 2.
5 points to Fessy for the Fessy flex cam.
Fessy was very MIA in this episode.
Yeah. Corey wants in but can't keep a partner. -5. Anissa falls like poop. -10. Not as bad as Josh's gaff, though. 5 points back to Anissa.
Okay.
Nom's back is still in bad shape, which Zach and I can attest to is a rough deal. -5 to Nom. Lolo's shoe is a problem. -5 to Lolo. -10 to Devin because he pulled a Josh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Big T smiling. 5 points. Proud Dad CT. That's a 10-pointer right there. And 10 points to Big T for making Dad proud.
I have a very symbiotic relationship with them because anytime they do well as a team, it gives me double points.
Anytime they suck as a team.
We're going to give 5 points to Big T for being a pole dancer and 5 points to Big T for being on the swim team.
All right.
Yep.
And an additional 25 to Big T and CT for winning the daily.
You could argue they should get a bonus 5 because TJ said it wasn't even close.
You're just trying to get extra points. You just said it's a symbiotic relationship.
Lolo doesn't feel like an athlete. -5. Nom feels bad. -5. But is very caring. So 5 points to Nom.
Okay.
CT wants to get rid of the goof. 10 points to CT.
I think Josh should get negative points for having a lower third that says the goof.
Yeah, well, he gets
-5.
-5, yeah. Anissa doesn't know who the goof is, though. -5 to Anissa.
Do you think she really didn't know, or she was just like, I don't want to get involved?
Well, I mean, she was in the confessional and seemed to not know.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 points to CT and Big T for being bad and bougie for the Bubble Club.
They made an entrance, that's for sure.
And an extra 5 points to Big T for demanding fun.
She called herself the fun police.
Gabby is jealous of Devin and Amber B. -5.
But for no reason. Like,
CT just wants Darrell's love. I don't. What is that? A deductive of points or?
Yeah, because he's not getting it.
Yeah, -5.
I guess. Yeah.
-5 to CT. -5 to Devin because he can't win with Gabby.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that whole thing.
Because nobody cares. Josh isn't scared to go against CT. -5. Also says he has nothing to prove. -5. Swing vote Darrell. 5 points to Darrell. Devin is the IT guy. You can give another. If you give 5 to him, and I guess 5 to Anissa because
he said she'd be in the
they're
van.
running the van.
Darrell let CT down with his swing vote, -5. But I think it's
-5 to who? CT?
Darrell.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, CT. Yeah, because hold on.
I shouldn't have said anything because that's your point.
No. I meant to because this next one is a -5 to Darrell because really he let us down because I think we all would have wanted Josh to go in.
Yeah.
So -5 to CT, -5 to Darrell.
I did. I got it both.
Josh can't believe he has friends. -5.
He was happy though.
But it's
Corey, even while trying to be nice, still called Josh a big kid. -5 to Josh because it's still a slight.
Yeah, we.
Why did you put -5 to Corey?
It's the same thing, but it's both your team. Yeah, it's still not a compliment.
How many points are we giving Lolo for leaving?
I think.
How many did we give Leo for quitting?
It's got to be like an elimination, right? I don't remember. When did,
I think we did like -25 or
let me
-20.
look back.
Well,
Leo's DQ
because we didn't want to do elimination points.
Well, elimination points is -25.
He lost 15.
That's it. Then that's what I did.
Yeah, it was 15 because we had to say it had to be more than a DQ, but less than eliminated.
let's see. Nam is going to improve his rooting skills, 5 points. But Nam doesn't know what love is, -5.
I don't think he didn't know what love is.
He just didn't love Lolo.
-10 to Gabby and Devin for being compromised.
Yep.
And then Josh is panicking, -5.
Give me just 1 second. And then Josh, -5. Josh is going to have the biggest negative from any single player in an episode. Is that it?
That's it.
Yeah, because, again, we were on a cliffhanger and didn't get to see anything else.
And now Zach is going to add up the points, so let's take a quick break. And we're back. That break brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Eat fresh.
Eat fresh. Yeah.
I'm loving it.
We had a new one this
Burger
week.
is king.
Yeah, that's not even their catchphrase.
Is it not?
It's not, hey, burger is king.
Burger King.
So, very, very, very interesting results after this week.
I know, I didn't do well.
So, again, Hannah still had the most people score overall, but she got 5 total from Fessy. She got 20 from Kyle, -5 from Corey, 10 from Cam, 0 from Nam. It canceled out. -5 from Devin. 0 from Nani, she canceled out. -15 from Gabby, and then -65 from Josh.
Let me stop you right there.
Are you sure you added that up right?
If you guys weren't aware of just how insanely obsessed Han is with Nam, the fact that Zach called out that Nam canceled out, and Han's response was, he just canceled out. Just a goofy little laugh, as if that was such a significant thing that happened for her team.
Yeah. Oh, Nam.
He just canceled out.
It's okay.
So she ended up with a -55 for the week.
Hey.
Because Josh was a -65.
Yeah, he was an idiot
overall.
this episode.
And so that happened. For me, CT got me 65. Leroy got nothing. Amber B got me nothing. And then Big T got me 65. And so I ended up with 130 for the week.
From 2 people.
From 2 players. Because, again, it's feast or famine with those 2. And then Amber B canceled and Leroy didn't do anything.
So you're gonna surpass me.
So
right?
Jake, on the other hand, he got 25 from Darrell.
Hey.
But then you got -20 from Lolo.
Great.
And then you got 5 from Casey. And then 0 from Anissa. It all canceled out. So for the week, Jake got 10.
Hey.
Good for you. And so that means in third place, Jake has 320. And in second place is Hannah with 610. And then after this week, I am in the lead with 640. So I have a 30-point lead on Hannah right now.
It's my first week not in first place.
But also think about if CT had an elimination and won, I would get the points, and then you would get the negative points for Devin. So things are flipping around. It looks like things are finally working out.
This thing's rigged.
If anything, you've had the insane amount of luck to where you just didn't have people go home for so long. I mean, you still only have one player that's gone home at this point, is Amber M.
And she might be coming back.
That's very true. She may be coming back.
Do I get points for her coming back? Because we did that for Ashley.
Did she? I don't think she got points for coming back. She got points for competing. Did she get them for actually coming back?
She got points for being a security breach, yep.
Okay. Yeah, so that again, knowing Hannah's luck, that's what will happen. But I got a update for the week. But I mean, this thing's flipped. Now, Jake, you're still
pretty far behind.
You gotta double up.
I've
somewhere.
got 320 points over you. My score is literally double yours.
If you doubled your score, no.
Oh wait, no, I was looking at yours.
If you doubled your score, you would be tied with me. If you doubled your score, you would be 30 ahead of Hannah.
So on my team, I have Darrell, Casey, and Anissa.
You have either 0 personality or 0 athletic skills.
Right.
So it's you're not getting a lot.
Your last personality person just quit.
Yeah, Lola, but she got you a negative for the week. I don't blame your rationale for the people you picked. Darrell was an oversight, but I think he would have gone early no matter what. But I mean, Wes, Lolo, Ashley, Tori all going right after that. Like,
man, Jake has the dullest team, and I have the team with the most personality.
Yeah, she does because she's got Josh and Devin,
Kyle, Corey, Cam, Nani,
Nom. She's leaving out Nom on purpose on that one. She doesn't want to come off as too obsessed. But yeah, anyway, as we said at the top of the show, Jake and I will be on the Couch Podtators Twitch Saturday, the 27th at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central. And again, it's live on there, and I'm assuming it'll be archived for later. I don't really know, but we'll put it on our Patreon afterwards. Hopefully, if we get all the files, and we may suck or we may do great. I don't know if we'll be on a team or if we will be playing individually. We're kind of in the dark on some of this, but they asked us to do it, and we're like, yeah, we'll do it. And so we'll be doing that. And again, patreon.com/smashingheadspodcast. We will have a Patreon exclusive podcast going up this weekend with our own Statman Paul. And was there anything else? Oh, Paramount Plus. Check that out whenever it comes out. I'm excited about the Challenge All-Stars, but Jake, something you're probably excited about too, the rumored Halo show, the live-action show about the Halo universe that's been in development since 2013. It's finally happening next year.
Man.
And so Steven Spielberg was attached as an executive producer at one point. Peter Jackson was attached, but they're no longer involved. And Charlie Murphy is apparently in the cast. Not sure how that's going to work out, but we'll see going forward.
Oh, that's Sergeant Johnson?
I think so.
Oh man, that'd be a fun one right there.
Yeah, it's not Master Chief, but yeah, it's we're Paramount Plus does seem like it's going to have some cool stuff coming. So check that out. And as always, we will be back with you next week. Actually, recording on Wednesday night next week.
Have a good night, everyone.